Hey guys, More here, back with some more 7 Days to Die gaming. Recently just endured another night horde. They actually came from the back side of the cliff, and so they were actually falling down like rain. It was kind of crazy, and they all just started walking off, so I managed to dodge most of that. Welcome back. It's been about a week for me since I recorded my last video. In that time, I think Alpha 11.1 and 11.2 have both dropped. And I think point one was just stabilization and performance increase, and I think point two was I think they fixed a problem with POIs. However, on our map here, we have POIs, and our POIs, it's a little ridiculous. Um, and a small apology up front. I'm trying recording a few different ways now, and previously I was just recording all the audio and video through Fraps. But with this time, I've actually tried to record the audio through Audacity. And so Audacity has a hotkey Shift R that will start the recording, but you actually have to have Audacity actually selected. And so I wound up not recording any of the audio for this game, and so right now I'm actually just narrating. A little frustrating to be sure, and I'm sure I can work it out. What recording on Audacity allows me to do is it allows me to kind of level everything. And I'm certainly a computer guy, but I was not in the AV club in high school, so I'm learning a lot of this as I go. I've got the video quality down, like 15 episodes in, 20 episodes in, I finally got the video quality narrowed down. So now I'm just trying to make sure that I can get the best audio paired up with the video. I think I'm up to 19 subscribers now, which is awesome. That's like 15 of you that I don't know, so thank you very much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. And this leads me to probably the biggest point of my video. After much, let's see, how do I put this? After working on this for a while, I have got my wife to agree that if I can get to 100 subscribers, she will get this game and we will play it together. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me that sounds friggin' awesome. And I am very excited to try and make that happen. I would love that. That would just be fantastic. And I mean, guys, I'll be upfront and honest. I have an awesome wife. I mean, I am a really, really lucky guy. I could not say enough things about my wife. But if we can get to 100 subscribers, we'll start our own world. It won't be intense or anything, and I won't make it unfun for her. And I will try very hard, and I think I can do it pretty well to make it enjoyable to watch and funny for you guys. I think we're one of those couples that has a very, very good chemistry together. And I think it would be hilarious. Plus, I would wind up implementing the every time you stab yourself on your own spike or break a leg rule, that's a shot, just to kind of keep things interesting. So, with all of that out of the way, let's actually talk about what I'm doing here. So we're continuing on with our Nomad lifestyle. We survived the 7-day horde relatively easily, I think. And so the horde that came after it, the one that I just dodged, the one that was running over the cliff top and then falling down the front of my base and then continuing to run on, that one had dogs and even a cop in it. So that was a little more disconcerting, and it's got me worried about how I'm actually going to last through the coming night, which we won't see in the next episode, but maybe the one after. Excuse me. So that's on my mind. I'm trying to figure that out. Definitely some changes with how I'm going to be playing the game coming up here. One, you guys saw the intro. I should be able to tack an outro onto this too as well. Big shout out to my best friend Jacob for supplying the musical track to that, because I don't have any kind of musical talent whatsoever. It's sad. It's really bad. Changes to gameplay, there were enough here, I actually had to write them down. So let's see, I changed, we went from Warrior to Brutal difficulty, which is I think the hardest I've ever played. Knocked the loot abundance down to 75% because we've got so much already. Between an auger and then all the gun parts that I've got scattered throughout the world, I've got a lot of loot. And when we do finally find a place to rest, I'll probably wind up making a victory tour to go back and get all that stuff. but because we're going from warrior to brutal, I did up um, the block durability to 100%, and then I made the days 60 minutes long, still 20% night. So that should give me 48 minutes of daylight, and 12 in-game minutes of nighttime. We are continuing to head a little more south, actually, um, almost making like a big loop. And the reason I want to head south is I have heard that the further north or south you go, the earlier the nighttime comes. And that's important because the earlier the nighttime comes, the sooner the zombies will start running. And I am not Zeo Kill Zeds. I mean, I watch his videos and I get super anxious. I feel like I have a panic attack when I watch his videos. So, I will not be playing on Always Run, at least not yet. Probably not good enough yet. Um, but because we're, I think, about 3,000 to the north, I want to get back to the quote-unquote equator of our game world here. So that way I can have, the most warning before the zombies start to run. I guess, I'll have the longest, bit of daylight, and it's not like the zombies just run at a set time anymore either. That's really important too. It used to be, 9:30 and 10.4 that you knew you had to be safe by. It's not that case anymore, and I see a lot of zombies starting to go running on other YouTubers' videos by 6 or 7, which is just terrifying. So, in an effort to kind of make that game mechanic a little bit easier, I want to continue to head south now. And again, it will look like we're making kind of a bit of a loop. Here's another POI. I think that's like my 7th, 8th POI of our Nomad journey so far. As you can see, the leg is broken but splinted or it's sprained. And the movement speed's only supposed to be down 20%, but it sure seems like a lot more than that. And I started out with a coffee, but all I had was one, so used that kind of early. And here we are just running along now, just continuing to see what we see, continuing to enjoy Alpha 11. It sure is pretty. I did bring that flawless stone axe with me as opposed to the iron fire axe. The fire axe, I think, was just poor. It wasn't faulty, it was a step above faulty. So, I didn't think there was a whole lot of value in bringing it when the flawless had so much more durability to it. It was much higher quality. It did not degrade nearly as quickly, and then it was easier to fix. It's just stone and not metal strips. So, kind of weighed the pros and cons, and that's what I came up with. Also, watching some other YouTuber videos, I learned that that the fatties and cops count for more XP, and since everything is based off of your level now, making sure to single those guys out and get those kills, that might be worth it now. So something I'm going to keep in mind going forward. Let's see, what else was there? New intro, maybe new outro. Game changes, my wife may be playing. Yeah, I think that was everything to get you guys all caught up. I make these in, 2 or 3 episodes at a time. I play for an hour, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. And then I start chopping that video up. And again, I hope this is the only video that I wind up narrating over. To me, it just doesn't feel as good. But it looks like we're going to go from a maple forest to a pine forest biome. And here, we wind up finding some caves, which I really like to ride on the road. And I wonder if I can't dig that other one down, and if that actually is a tunnel, and there's just a layer of clay and dirt in the way. Man, having my leg broke, that sucks. Just so slow, and I'm sure it slows the episode down, quite a bit. But we are continuing to head south and eastish a bit. And we do, like I said, wind up making a bit of a loop. Just looking for a good place to settle down at. My level 17, my wellness is up to 117, 118, I think. And I haven't seen anybody on YouTube that's a higher level than I do, at least not out of the ones that I follow and watch daily. But I think Midnight Designer's definitely got me beat on wellness. I don't know how he didn't lose a bunch of wellness like we did in our videos very early on. Um, Boy, my hat's off to him. And then the amount of wellness he has now is ridiculous. And with the game being harder, every point of wellness is critical. You know, if for nothing more than it raises your maximum health cap. And so if you're at max health, you get surprised and stunned, and you get a bunch of zombies beating on you, you'll be able to survive that much longer. You know, and hopefully break that stun, get out of there, and get some health back in you. But as we continue to head southeast, we are looking for a place to settle down, and high on my priority list would be close to the hub city, but not too close, so you could just barely start to see it render, or maybe just outside of the render range. I play with max view setting, max view distance setting, based around a road with mines nearby and a POI nearby too. So I guess if I could have a spot where I was on the road with a mine, you know, right there on the road, like kind of like what we just passed, if I could have that spot and then build so the hub city was just out of the load range, and then so the POI going the other way was just outside of the load range, I think that would be perfect. And man, this is like a cricket biome. Do you guys hear the bugs? That's insane. Maybe 11.3 can like tone that bug sound down just a little bit. Oh, a Rongo cart. That's right. I forgot I found this thing. God, I wish we could just push that thing around. That would be awesome. You go up to it, you push it once like you're going to open the container, but you just, little animation brings your hands up and you can just push that thing around like a little old lady. You can be slow and loud and pull Zeds, but it would help you move from base to base. Like, how cool would that be if I could do a victory lap of all the places that I previously stayed? And here we are kind of going over the path that I took to get here as we try and figure out where we're going to go next. You know, because again, I had the luxury of narrating this after the fact for this particular episode, and I chose to go this way to not just, because if we'd kept going straight, I would have actually, that road would have went to that very first intersection that we had to make a choice at, that led us eventually to our first POI. So I chose this way to round about a little bit, because I didn't want to just make a big loop. I wanted to wind up at a different place going towards the hub city. So we're going to go the way that's going to take us a little bit longer. It'll take another day maybe to get to hopefully where we're going to stay and start building. So, which I am excited for. Holy cow. You know, and I've passed all of these different working stiff places. You know, I'm excited to go and loot those. Not too terribly worried about, you know, how long until the loot comes back and such. Again, we've got so much already that if I can find a mine and maybe a thing of corn, you know, I think that's all I'll really need going forward. So, oh, and a mining helmet, it would be good too. But yeah, we've just got so much already. The only thing I'm really worried about now is just surviving the nights until we find a place to settle down at. How have your guys' worlds been going? I hope they've been going well. You know, as always, I really appreciate the comments. I love reading those and answering to those. Thank you for sharing the videos, those of you that are. That's something I hadn't really ever even thought of. So thank you for doing that. Again, I hope the quality of the videos continues to improve. I hope they continue to be more enjoyable to watch. Let's see. I think this video is going to be... Oh, and I'm shooting for 20-minute length videos now. I think that is about as long as you could reasonably expect someone to really be interested in a 7 Days to Die Let's Play episode and still get something done in that same episode. So in this episode, we're going to wind up traversing through, I think, 3 biomes. You know, which is pretty good when you think about it, that we only did it on 1 coffee and we did it in 20 minutes. We get a few kills, we get some loot, we make some more POI discoveries going forward, but I also noticed a bug there when I was doing that. You know, when I had moused over the tool while on the character menu, it would only show me the buff details from that broken leg debuff. So I actually had to go into crafting menu to roll over that flawless stone axe to see, what was I checking? I guess block damage per swing. And also, you know, it helps me to get a little more stamina back. This was terrifying. This is, I think, the first burnt biome we've really gone through, um, and it was creepy as hell. Uh, but you know, I figure if I avoided all the things that weren't creepy, it wouldn't be a very good video. It wouldn't be very entertaining. So, um, yeah, this is the burnt biome. I love this hill though. How big it is. How high it goes. I mean, you know, the road clears the tops of the trees. And here's some of the new charcoal. Um, so supposedly underneath this is coal, and so I just do a quick check to make sure that I'm not surrounded and there's no one sneaking up on me. And so I wanted to see what we were going to get, but we got just one charcoal piece instead of like the coal ore, which is where, that coal ore is where it's at. We can sit there and futz, and if you've got the good tooling and the time for it, that method of collecting coal probably would not be too bad because it's right there on the surface. You don't have to go looking for it very far. But, I just don't have the time right now, let alone the stamina or even the inventory room. In fact, I think that has probably been, outside of kind of getting established and getting all your tools together, I think that has actually been the hardest part of playing the Nomad playstyle, is just not having enough room in your inventory. Again, the Rongo cart would be fantastic for that. And I think these right here are actually the very first burnt zombie that I've seen in game, and it was impressive. Not sure if I am sold on the textures or not. I might be in the camp that says this is a little bit too crazy and maybe his clothes should be fringed and embered, not necessarily him. He should be dark and burnt. I think I pushed R there just out of habit, but really didn't need to. Didn't really need either of those things since my inventory is so low. Trying to keep it open in case I found a gun part or a tool worth keeping, or a book. Also totally forgot all the like 17 pieces of cooked pork that I had at the last hard point we made. That was totally unintentional. Did not mean to do that, and that sucks. So next episode we will be looking for food and finding a safe place to cook it, I think. Though again, food does seem to be going a lot longer in this alpha than it did in previous ones. So look at this view. We get a little bit of sunlight there at the top of the hill. God, those trees are just ridiculous. And it looks really nice here. I am impressed. And then we find this. And so I kind of think about looting it. And I say, yeah, let's loot this. And so I crouch and start taking out the zombies. Shoot terribly. Everybody laugh. I watch other YouTubers like I watch Rongo and stuff play, and he's missing, and I'm thinking, oh, I can make those shots, I could do that, and I obviously cannot. So my apologies to Rongo. Very interesting to find a POI like this out here in the burnt biome. I don't think I've actually ever found anything in the burnt biomes, not in the random gen worlds. It would be cool if we could like break these guys up and they would drop a piece of charcoal or something. I think they'd be a little more worthwhile to take out. And so let's go loot this thing, right? And then I look inside. And then I decide, no, we actually don't need to loot this thing. We have minimal inventory space, and I don't feel like taking all those guys on in a closed area like that, especially in the burnt biome, because, again, burnt biome, it's quite creepy. Yep, just continuing on down the road. Thinking 1 or 2 more episodes, hopefully not much more than that, of continuing to live the nomad lifestyle before we eventually pick a place and settle down. And I have got some build ideas, holy cow. Again, for those of you that maybe have not watched the whole season and heard me say this, I've never played the Nomad play style before, so I wanted to see what it was like, and I don't know of anyone else that's doing it for Alpha 11. I think everybody settled on fortifying one of the brick buildings in a POI. They settled on building in a cave, or they struggled and died a lot. But I haven't seen anyone else do the Nomad playstyle, so something different. But like I said, I have some build ideas that I want to be doing, and it's kind of killing me to not get to be doing them. So we've got the auger, and again, all those POIs that I have yet to go loot. I mean, I think there's 3 working stiff POIs. There are 2 in that huge snow biome, and then that one right there to go and loot to help with the building. Hopefully one of those will have the chainsaw. The chainsaw does not come in parts. So if I could find a bunch of steel frames, rebar frames, mining helmet, maybe some various quality tooling, I'm sure I'll find that. I don't think I've watched anybody loot working stiff tools yet, so I don't actually know what's in the boxes. But I know that in the shotgun messiahs. Oh, this is the intersection that actually has us going back to where we originally started. That was the first intersection there that led us to the first big town where we holed up and stayed for a while. So if we kept going down this path, that's where we would go. We'd eventually wind up there, and I don't know that I want to do that. It's nice and all, but that POI is in the next biome, and I don't want to be in the next biome to get to the POI. I want the POI to be in a biome adjacent to the hub city, and I will pick a place to live, somewhere around there. It's pretty creepy. Holy cow, it was creepy. And when I did finally start to see the dithering such that, I knew that I was coming up to the end of this bio, it was very nice. I did not like being in this biome, and I think that's kind of the point, right? So, they did a great job. So let's see, I have about 45% of my hunger bar filled, and all my other ones are looking pretty good. I think the wellness did get up to like 118. So that's good. Also kind of eager to start settling down and clearing an area out, because that's where your levels start to really jump, and taking on the horde, taking on those hordes, that really makes a big difference too. And then building, it looks like in point 1 or point 2 we gotta bump up to how much experience you get for crafting stuff. So also, if you guys could throw in the comments, I was contemplating turning craft timers on, keeping loot timers off, but having craft timers on, if I did, they'd just be fast. It'd be the fast one, they wouldn't be the slow one, but it would add some challenge in getting something up in time for the 14-day horde. So yeah, I remember being so relieved late last night, because I'm narrating this now the morning after, so my voice is probably sounding a little croaky. More wellness. But I remember just feeling relieved to get to this bridge. So good job, Fun Pips. Good job making that just desolate and unattractive to be in. But if you guys could put in the comments how you feel about maybe a fast craft timer when I do finally get to where I'm going, I'd appreciate it greatly. And so here, I'll end up taking these guys out and just making it safe to actually log out here, so I'm not going to hopefully not going to get ambushed upon coming back up. And, as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. At this point, if you guys could please subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I would love to play this game with my wife. I think it would be a ton of fun. We'd start off real easy, but we'd make it work. But as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.